Yes, people. How are we all doing? Welcome back to another stream. Hope you're all doing very well. Obviously, we beat Young Boys last night. Not a huge amount to talk about on that one, but we want to do a daily news roundup. We think we're going to make these like a daily show, hopefully, and just kind of look through Twitter on City Extra's Twitter, of course, see what's going on in the world of Manchester City, and we can all give our thoughts. You guys in the chat, you got myself, Jordy Porty, and Joey Boy as well here. Said he'd come on and share his thoughts with us. Big up, Joe, for that. If you'd all do us a favor and smash a like on the stream, it massively helps more people find the channel. And subscribe if you're new to the City Extra community. Help us on the road to the big 100K. Anyways, boys, I say we get straight into Twitter, see what's going on. I've seen a few bits. The first piece I think we should talk about was 42 minutes ago. Alex Crook, whoever Alex works for TalkSport, so you can make your own mind up about source, says Fulham have earmarked Calvin Phillips as a potential replacement for Joao Paulinho. And so obviously we knew Paulinho was going to go to Bayern Munich last summer. That all fell to shit on the 11th hour. So he had to stay at Fulham. They're looking for a replacement now because they're anticipating Paulinho to go to Bayern Munich or leave, I suppose. And they're looking at our boy Calvin. Breaking my heart here. But what does anyone think about this?
I think Fulham are going to be in with some decent competition for Calvin. I think teams like Newcastle and that are looking at Calvin Phillips as well. So Fulham might be thinking, we'll sneak in and get Calvin Phillips here, but I don't know. I think other people might be interested. It's a weird one though, isn't it, with Calvin Phillips? Because he doesn't play football for us. You don't know where or who's kind of available other than like the links that we get. And obviously we know that Spurs have been available, Liverpool were available in the summer, and Newcastle. I'll throw in Fulham in there. If I was Calvin Phillips, I'd be choosing Spurs or Newcastle there.
Yeah, I probably would too. I mean, the fact that all these clubs are in for Calvin Phillips, it just goes to show that he's not a bad footballer. Do you know what I mean? He's really not a bad footballer. It's just for me a case of wrong place, wrong time for Calvin Phillips. And like to say you're not good enough to play for Manchester City, that's not an embarrassment. Do you know what I mean? To not be able to play ahead of Rodri or to be a regular feature in this current treble-winning team, it's no embarrassment as it is the best squad on paper and currently the best team in the world. So if he's got these clubs, look at him, Joe. Like he can't be that bad. But I mean, Mr. Porty said or Newcastle and Liverpool. They're the ones he suggested he should go to. West Ham,
Spurs as well.
Yeah, I'm surprised no one mentioned West Ham really, because like they haven't had a solid link, but we keep getting linked to Paqueta, and it's not out of the realm of possibility that there is some sort of cash plus swap deal. Because I don't think West Ham would necessarily say no either. I don't think they would, completely reject that offer. I don't know. It's a weird one, but if I was Calvin Phillips, he has to get out the door for the sake of his England career. Like, he has to get out the door, and I'm surprised that there's that many clubs because, like you said, he hasn't played football in like 18 months. So I'm surprised that he's getting, these links, especially with the clubs with these profiles. Like, we're talking Champions League level clubs here, like Newcastle, Liverpool will probably be back in there, Spurs looking like they could be back in there, which is wild. But listen, I'm sort of past it. I think he really should go for the sake of his career. I don't know whether Fulham would sign him on a permanent or a loan, because I know the talk is that Newcastle would probably sign him on loan in January. So I don't know. It doesn't say whether it would be loan or permanent, whether they'd use any funds to sign him.
I think a good shout is the West Ham one. I think the West Ham one's a great shout. If you can involve Calvin Phillips in that Paqueta deal, it just makes sense. If City can get the Paqueta deal over the line in West Ham, as long as he's betting things out the way with, then you can switch it up and put Calvin Phillips in there, get a little bit of a cheaper price. I think that's I think that's the best way to run it.
I mean, that's probably the best outcome for me as well, is send him to West Ham when it sweetens the deal or makes the deal smoother to go and get Paqueta, because I do really want Paqueta. But we spoke about this before on this channel. Like, if you don't want to go West Ham and he's got offer from other clubs, he's not going to go. You know what I mean? You can't force him to sign for West Ham if he wants to go to Spurs. And if you look at the options of the clubs that we're talking about here, like say Tottenham, if they come in from, that would be a good club for him to go to. Is he going to start ahead of Basuma at Tottenham? I mean, in both of your opinions, is he going to play ahead of Basuma? Probably not right now. Basuma is probably one of the highest performing midfielders in the country right now. If he goes to Newcastle, they've got pretty good depth there. If he goes to West Ham, he probably could get game time there. And if he goes to Liverpool, which for me is interesting because they don't actually have a defensive midfielder, do they? They don't. Like, they have
Endo.
Klopp don't trust Endo, man. Klopp don't trust Endo. If Calvin Phillips goes there and he's told by Klopp, you're our number 6 now. I know you're going to take a little while to get your feet in the ground, to get going again, to get back up to speed, but you're our number 6. You're going to play behind McAllister. You're going to play behind Szoboszlai. That could be the revival for me of Calvin Phillips' career, but it was just a small piece of news. I don't think it's any surprise that Fulham are throwing their name in the hat. I think plenty of clubs will, because he's not a bad footballer, and as I've already stressed, to not be good enough to play for Pep and Manchester City is no embarrassment. You know what I mean? If you told me, Hugh, you're not good enough to play for City, but you're good enough to play for Spurs, Fulham, or Liverpool, I'd say I'm a pretty damn good footballer. More news on Jamal Musiala. We did a show or a stream yesterday on Musiala, myself and Mr. Porty. And as I said at the top of that stream, there's more and more news coming out or pieces of information regarding Musiala every single day, which is why I think there is truth to Musiala wanted to leave Bayern Munich. Whether that means he wants to come to Manchester City, that's totally up to you guys to decide, because we don't know yet. But another small piece here was Pep Guardiola sees Jamal Musiala as becoming the best number 10 in the world within 1 to 2 years at the latest. The Man City manager wants to sign the player as Kevin De Bruyne's successor. Jordan, this is kind of what we said yesterday, isn't it? Really, like we need to go and find. I mean, the word successor is a bit over the top, because you're not going to find a successor for Kevin De Bruyne, but you need someone who's going to come in and play at a really high level consistently to help us get over that loss of Kevin De Bruyne, whenever that may be. And if Pep really does view Musiala as one of the best number 10s in the world, or the best number 10 in the world in 1 to 2 years, City will go all in for him.
Yeah, there's a lot of smoke around this deal now. It's becoming something a little bit more than what we thought it was. However, when I was looking on Twitter before, I seen that people are in Tolmy. I mean, to see Tolmy stonks and that, see what his opinion on the scenario is, and he was very much of the still that it's Paqueta, not Musiala. That's City one. But like we said in our stream yesterday, Hugh, you can't, just because we get Paqueta doesn't write off the idea of getting Musiala in the summer, because I mean, we can go for 2. If you think you're going to lose someone like Bernardo Silva as well very shortly, then getting Musiala in, getting Paqueta in, I think that just, then again, that just basically re-energizes your midfield completely.
Oh, it'd be brand new. It'd be brand new, and that would get me so gassed. Paqueta gets me gassed alone, because I think he's such a good player, and it's not just the creativity and the Samba excitement from Paqueta. If you look at his statistics, he's got one of the highest tackle rates in the Premier League. He's covered some of the most ground in the Premier League. Like, he's a hard-working midfielder, Paqueta, as well as high technical ability. But then if you throw someone like Musiala, or dare I say Florian Wirtz, because I know a lot of the people in the chat like Florian Wirtz, that's a really brand new midfield that has really, really high potential. But Joe, I'm sure you've seen plenty of the Musiala stuff. What do you make of it? Is he someone that you'd rate, or that you would like? Can he be Kevin De Bruyne's successor, like this tweet says?
I love him as a player, but I think this whole narrative of trying to find the Kevin De Bruyne successor is a little bit silly, because there is no one that's going to come in and directly replace him. Like, it's not going to happen. You're not going to find someone of that level. Like, Kevin De Bruyne is a 1 in a million player. Like, he's that good. So a direct replacement, we've seen the Foden maybe can do it, and now it's Musiala. Like, we'll go on and on and on trying to find a replacement, but Musiala would still be a player. I'd love him. I'd absolutely love him, but I really don't know where this one has come from. Like, I was surprised when I saw that he was stalling on his contract talks with Bayern Munich, because I was thinking, they just signed Harry Kane. Like, why would he not want to stay there? They're in a prime position to challenge for the Champions League, or you would think they would be. So I was very surprised by it, but I wouldn't say no. But like you said, I think the whole Paqueta stuff kind of makes me feel that this won't happen, because I doubt we're going to get both. I doubt we'll get both. It's not something that, even if we do lose Bernardo Silva, I don't think we'd get both. Not only because
it doesn't feel real. It doesn't feel realistic. Like a realistic option to go get both of them players.
No, it doesn't. And
why not? If you're losing De Bruyne and Bernardo,
we're not losing De Bruyne yet, though. That's the thing. I think if he was to be gone soon, like if we knew he was on his way down and he'd only have 2 or 3 years left, then maybe. But he's not. There's no signs of that. In fact, we're going to give him. There was the new contract for De Bruyne. Piece of news that came out. So it doesn't seem like he's slowing down, or we have any, plans to replace him anytime soon.
I actually didn't mean to say losing De Bruyne. It's more so I meant game management when it comes to Kevin De Bruyne, because like I said, he's heavily injury prone, De Bruyne, and you're going to have to heavily manage the amount of minutes he plays on a week-to-week basis. And also, there's the Phil Foden thing there. I want to get some of your opinions in the chat and get involved in this as well. Where do you guys stand with Phil Foden? Obviously, we thought at the start of this season he was going to be midfield. It was full midfield Foden season. I kind of get the vibe Pep doesn't fully trust him, and that's kind of why he's pushing him outright a bit more. I think outright's probably where he's suited best right now. And then if we are looking at players like Paqueta, Musiala, maybe Wirtz, I don't even know. Is that a bad sign for Phil Foden for either of you?
Pep just doesn't trust Phil in the mid, man, and I can stand. That's probably why you'll keep going like this. We have seen some good glimpses of Phil in the midfield. I know a lot of people have said now during this period where we've not been playing the best kind of football that Phil Foden really needed to step up during this time, and people are saying that he still does need to step up. But I do think he still needs a lot more game time in first team football in that midfield. Like he's not really had that much. I think this season is really where we're starting to see it a little bit more. But personally, I think Pep just doesn't trust him enough to just full send it and just go, you know what, actually, I don't want to sign no one else in midfield. I've got Phil Foden. I'm fine with that. I think Pep's like, no. I want to go get Paqueta because that backs me up anyway. Because if Phil Foden doesn't work out in midfield, I can always push him out to wing and use Paqueta. I think Pep's protecting himself there.
I think if we go and get Paqueta, that Phil Foden's going to spend most of his time in the wing.
Yeah,
that's the way I look at it, Joe.
I mean, I was hoping to see him in midfield, but it just hasn't really worked, has it? I don't actually like it. This might be an unpopular opinion, or I might be misreading something, but I don't actually like him in a number 10, in a really advanced midfielder role. I think his skill set, what he's really good at is, see all the time driving from a deeper position, which is why he's good out wide, because he'll come deep from the right-hand side, drop off, pick the ball up, turn, and run at his man. I mean, we saw against, who did we play? Who was our last league game? I forgot already. Brighton. Yeah. He made that run against Brighton where he came deep in his own half and he skinned about 3 or 4 players and put it through someone's legs. Like, that's what he's good at. He's good at receiving the ball deep, turning and running. So I don't actually particularly like him in that number 10, like what Alvarez is playing. I think he's a much deeper midfield player based on what he's good at. I mean, he might end up being a good number 10, but he's not going to get the minutes there because Alvarez is doing so well there already. Like, he's, say he's one of the first names on the team sheet at the moment, and then De Bruyne comes back, and then you're thinking, we signed Paqueta or Musiala or Wirtz or someone like that, and he's just not going to get minutes there.
Do you think?
Only says, sorry,
Karen here. Right.
I was going to say, Recruit only says we need to just full send Foden and not drop him every couple of games, even if he doesn't play fantastic. Is that a method that you go with, or that you guys will buy into, or do you think it's a case of we don't have that kind of time? We need players who we know are just going to bang straight away. Like Alvarez, I've highlighted a lot over the last year that I was never mad about him in that midfield kind of role or second striker kind of role, but he keeps proving me wrong. And I made a video on him when I was in your house a couple of weeks ago, Jordan, that I said I think he's possibly the most important player in the team right now behind Rodri. So you can't really drop Alvarez when he's so consistent, and Foden's not. Like I look at those games like the ones where Rodri was out specifically. I looked at Arsenal, I looked at Wolves, and they were the kind of games where I really wanted Foden to impose himself. I really wanted him to be a creative spark. I was kind of like, this is your time where you can show that you're capable of grabbing a game by the horns and being the midfield creator, the chief creator. But he didn't. Now, I do understand the method that Recruit Only is talking about here, because that's something Pep did a lot with Mahrez. If you remember Mahrez over the years, the thing you had to do to get Mahrez into form was to keep playing him, because if you didn't play Mahrez, he'd lose his sharpness and eventually he'd bang. Do you think that's something worth doing with Foden, or is it, or nah?
I just don't think Pep will run it. I just don't think. I just think you know Pep roulette and how Pep does things. I don't think he's going to commit like a 5 or 10 game run for Phil Foden in one spot. I think he's just he'll be switching it out. I think every season we go through this like first part, the first half where obviously we're never the best in the first half of the seasons anyway, and it seems like we get it figured out by like February. We kind of figure it out and we go, right, this is actually what the best team is. And then it kind of like sticks and you get like a little bit more consistency in the team from that point onwards. I feel like he's doing it again this year. We've lost players. So I feel like this year he's again trying to just figure out where our best team lies and where our new signings like Kovacic and Nunes can be helpful. And I don't think he's gonna allow Phil Foden a run like that. I think I just personally think he's just happy to go get Paqueta in January and just because in Pep's mind he's going give Foden 10 games a 10-game run in that and see if he smashes it. Or go get Paqueta in January, throw him in there, and you can still play Phil Foden on the wing. Where he knows that Phil Foden does well and excels. Like, he does bits on the wings. Like we know he's good at that. I feel like he'd just do that.
Yeah, I like when you're under pressure to win these competitions and you set such high standards. It's not very common to see Pep Guardiola pursuing with players and trying to play them into form. Like I said, Mahrez was a bit of an anomaly in that sense. But I mean, chat, get involved in this. What's your preferred midfield? What's your preferred midfield three? Rodri. I mean, we saw Nunes last night. Did either of you rate Nunes last night? I saw mixed reports.
He's like
He's
you know the thing is, right? This is the Calvin Phillips thing. Calvin Phillips, when he plays in the pitch, he doesn't show nothing and looks shit. So then it's just like, right, well, he can't play for us anymore. With Nunes, you can see glimpses of what he could be at City. And then it's just like, so it feels like he's a little bit out of time with it at the moment. But you can see where Nunes is going to go this team. I think he'll do bits. I genuinely think he'll do bits in the City side.
You fan of him, Joe?
He was all right. He was. I've seen much worse. I mean, that was like his third game or something. Like he's barely played. Like he hasn't had time to get used to it at all.
Yeah, that's it. But also, the time I said this on the watch on yesterday, I was like, what you got to realize is this guy's barely played football for us. Honestly, it was more like a forgotten man.
It's always going to be hard, man. It's always going to be really hard when you're off the back of a treble-winning season and you have players like Gundo slamming it, Mahrez slamming it, Bernardo slamming it. Anybody who tries to come in and hit those heights straight away, they're not going to do it. You know what I mean? It's just not realistic. You kind of have to bear with transition a little bit and give these kind of players time. Like I suppose we tried to a little bit with Calvin Phillips, but as Jordan said, he saw something with Nunes. We never really saw something with Calvin Phillips. It's one of those ones, like, you know what I mean? We gave Jack Grealish time. He came pretty good last season. A lot of people were very impressed with Jack Grealish last night. I saw a lot of people on Twitter saying he created a lot of chances. I didn't see the game.
He was good on left-hand side, Jack. He probably needed that as well. Since we've been seeing this season, he's been a bit ropey, but yeah, I think he was good last night. Grealish probably should have had 2 assists.
He ended up on the right as well.
Yeah, he was on the right. Docker and Grealish switched, and I was like, "What? This is weird."
And what was Jack like on the right? Was he good? I didn't see the game. I didn't see it at all. Was it good?
I don't really remember too much from it. I just remember seeing him on the right hand side. I don't know if he actually
He had
did
like
anything
5-10 minutes in the end of the first half on the right where they switched, and I don't know why they switched. Grealish just never played for us on the right, and
Yeah,
he only
it's
did it for
weird.
Villa like a couple of times. Like it was so weird.
Yeah. But, see how that goes in the future, innit? Pep might be cooking something different.
Right wing Grealish. That would be kind of
Yeah.
mad, you know. Could it be
I
like
think
right wing?
I think in Pep said it's more of like it says there Cal says Pep loves switching Doku. I think in Pep said it's more of not what he's going to get from Grealish, what he's going to get from Doku by putting him on the different side.
So Grealish was just the make weight. Should have been just okay.
Pretty
I get
much.
that.
Like
Yeah, I don't think he was
I think
thinking.
the whole Doku and Nunes thing wasn't working because they were like there was a couple of runs and Nunes made into the box and Doku didn't pick him out, and they were almost occupying the same space. So he switched them for 10 minutes to see what happened.
In your opinion, both of you and Chad as well, in the attacking area of the pitch last night, did anybody make a really good claim to play in the derby on Sunday? Like, could you see a similar lineup?
Oh, Doku will play. Should play. I mean,
Doku
to
and
fair,
Foden.
Grealish could probably put his name in.
Grealish probably made the best case out of anyone, considering he's been out of the team for so long. And I don't think he would have got man of the match because Haaland scored twice. But you know what I mean? Like, he was up there, and he didn't come out with a goal and assist, he was still up there. Like, he made a solid case.
The thing is with Doku, yeah, we know what to expect from Doku. Grealish, obviously he's not been playing that well. He made the level up to be playing well. So he has come a lot further than what Doku has, because Doku was just being Doku. But yeah, I honestly, Grealish and Doku basically have put their name in there. I don't think he'll start with Grealish and Doku. I think he'll start with Doku and Foden. But I think Grealish should definitely put his name in there.
It'll be interesting to see who he goes with. But as you said, Joe, Haaland steals the headlines. He's back to taking headlines, and nice few stats here on Erling Haaland. The first one is he has now directly been involved in 115 goals across his last 100 appearances in all competitions at club level. That's in 100 games, 96 goals and 19 assists. Like that's just disgusting. Like that is absolutely outrageous. And Fabrizio Romano tweeted as well earlier on about it. I saw it saying something like, it's so easy to forget how young this guy is. Do you know what I mean? At 23 years old, and then he's just entered the top 20 all-time Champions League goal-scoring charts after 31 games in the competition. I mean, you think about the amount of greats that have played in the Champions League, wingers, midfielders, strikers, and Erling Haaland after 31 games has just etched himself in the top 20 of all time. I mean, it's absolutely insane how anybody could have doubted this guy just a few weeks ago. No, City fans did, I know, but people, man, I saw a lot of media outlets chatting.
Bro, people in the stream yesterday in the watch songs, City fans, like doubting Erling Haaland, man.
Nah, I refuse.
Video
or it didn't happen. Show me video or it didn't happen.
Doubting Erling Haaland and that, and I was like, nah, you can't be real, man. You can't be real. Anyway, they're doubting him after he scored. Do you know what I mean? He scored one goal, and then as literally about 2 minutes after they're all doubting him and that, I'm talking about in the chat, he banged that goal in right foot top bin, and I was like, fucking none of you lot better be celebrating. Like fucking all buzzing for Haaland.
He's just that guy. Like, do you know what I mean?
Him.
Do you see his dad? Do you see Alfie?
Yeah.
When Erling scored, I don't know, was it his first or his second? His dad barely celebrated. He was just kind of like stoned.
He didn't do nothing, did he?
Penalty. He didn't move.
Yeah, the pen. He just kind of sat there like, yeah, okay.
I don't get that. I don't know why he was so.
Yeah, because his dad was probably like thinking, yeah, he should be scoring that.
Yeah, it's just standard procedure.
Standard procedure, and he's probably a bit. Thing is, he has missed chances. He missed
a couple yesterday, you know.
Yeah.
That Doku one where he flashed it across the 6-yard box, he missed that one.
Yeah.
And the one where he was played through one-on-one with the keeper and he tries to go around him. He missed a good cut. He missed a good couple, but then of course he makes up for it because he sticks one in the top corner, so it's all fine.
Yeah. I think you can see the frustration on him as well. He's very, very, very frustrated. You can see when he scored the penalty, he was buzzing. You can see him letting out a frustration there because he was goal drought kind of thing or whatever. But then also then he missed bare chances again, like we were just saying then, and then he scored that banger top bins, and you could see then that the frustration that happens. Like, I think that second goal would have done bits for him.
Oh yeah,
he needed that second goal in that game because of the amount of chances that he was missing.
because he's such a good player that like one goal a game for him, it's not going to do it for him. It's not going to give him that hit or that satisfaction that he's used to last season when he's banging loads of goals, because he gets so many chances. Like you saw the relief on his face when he scored the goal against Brighton as well, because that was the first game after the international break, and a lot of people were talking shit about him during the international break. So I watched them, like when I was in the Emirates for the game against Arsenal. I was watching them when we were in the away end, and we were playing down towards the away end. I want to say in the first half, or whatever it was. And you look at his body language, he looked really, really stressed, really, really frustrated. And I said this on the Big Steve show. I was like, he's one of these players that his morale, his confidence, his everything will only get better if you're giving the guy chances. And it's only a matter of time before he doesn't miss those chances you're talking about, and he bangs 3 or 4 in a game, and all of a sudden he's back to being Erling Haaland. But that's dependent on the players around him creating those chances. So you're going to have to go through nights a bit like last night where he's a bit shit and he only scores 2. What the hell is that about? But he misses a couple of chances. The original jersey says with a 12 months, big up for 1 year, the original jersey. That's sick, man. He says Haaland is really missing Kevin De Bruyne out while Alvarez is striving. Alvarez is kind of the main man in the attacking force this year, lads, isn't he?
He's finished last night was good as well, even though it ended up being a handball off Grealish, but it was a good play that, which he made himself. 1-2 with Haaland. Haaland as well with a great ball. That happened quite a lot last night, actually. Haaland was playing into some passes that were mint. So definitely something that he's been working on. But yeah, the 1-2 with Haaland, and then scored. But
it's like his first touch as well. Like he'd only been on for like a minute.
Yeah, he made like the only other touch I can think of was the pass to Haaland. Haaland gives it him back and then taps it into the back of the net. But obviously Grealish was involved and his hand touched the ball, so that got ruled out. But that was a good finish for Alvarez, and I think he's so important in this side right now while Kev isn't there. Do you know how we always say that someone has to step up? Like Gundo's done it in the past. This time Alvarez is stepping up in that role, which is good, man. It's good. We're blessed to have him.
Do you have a bro?
No, mate. No. Unless he's on about Joe.
We all have bros, man. We all have bros.
Unless he's on about Joe, is that what he's saying? Yeah.
I've been called worse. I've been called Goldbridge before.
Have you?
Yeah, I've been called a Goldbridge lookalike before.
Joe Bridge.
But yeah, I mean, it's a quiet day in terms of news. There's not a huge amount. I mean, Pep said on Haaland, people expect he has to score 4 goals. People want him to fail. I'm sorry, he'll score goals his whole life and a credible threat. I mean, that's a nice compliment from Pep Guardiola. Rico Lewis got himself man of the match. Not a huge amount of news, I suppose. It's just one of those ones. I think it's good practice to come on and just go through whatever's happening on Twitter, have a chat with you guys in the chat, see what Joe's saying, see what we're saying, and might do these daily, hopefully, if it's something we can make happen quick half an hour. But yeah, listen, 140 in the building, not bad for a last-minute stream. If you would do us a massive favor and smash a like on the stream, it really does help. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. There's lots and lots and lots of Derby content coming up in the next few days, chat. I'll tell you now, turn that notification bell on because you really don't want to miss it. Tomorrow, confirmed 5 p.m. we have a Derby Day special with Big Steve and another guest. We're going to do a special video or stream. It'll be live at 5 p.m. Myself, Steve, and another guest. You'll find out tomorrow. Stay tuned for that. I'm hoping to have a panel show tomorrow evening. I've got 1 or 2 guests confirmed at maybe 7 or 8 p.m. Saturday, myself and Mr. Porty might get Joe on for that as well. Can do a preview. There's so much to happen. There'll be a vlog, maybe some fan camp. It's a big weekend, people. So get your seatbelts on and get ready for that. But yeah, listen, we'll be back tomorrow anyway with Derby content, maybe another news roundup if there's anything worth talking about. And yeah, listen, we'll see you all soon in a bit.
Event.